Hey everybody, good afternoon. So welcome to my video about now that you've gone vegan, you're on a vegetarian or plant-based diet, now what? So let's say that you've done that, you've taken animal products out of your diet and you've seen some improvement for a while, or some changes in how your body is, and you feeling a little bit better, and then you hit a wall. Or like maybe you're one of these people, like I've seen a lot of people talking about how they've been vegan or vegetarian or on a plant-based diet for a while and they've dropped a few pounds and then they plateau and then they can't get off it. So if that's you, or if you are experiencing mood swings, brain fog, not a lot of energy, if you are having trouble with digestive issues, skin problems, rashes, allergies, respiratory problems, if you're experiencing any of those problems or you've plateaued, then you're going to want to pay attention to what I'm going to be sharing today, because some of the things I will be sharing with you can help you. All right? So once you've hit that plateau, or if you're experiencing things like I've just mentioned, then it's not just because you've taken animal products out of your diet and therefore you're all healthy. You really have to start thinking about a different conversation with yourself, because just because animal products are gone from your diet, or you're vegetarian, plant-based, or diminished your animal products in your diet, that doesn't mean you're healthy. So when you're coming up against these things that I just said about the allergies, the rashes, the congestion, no energy, etc., then it's time to start looking at changing your story and looking at what else are you doing that's inhibiting you from feeling good and from feeling clear, having a stable moods and emotions, having a mental clarity, having the physical energy to do what you need to do. So that's where we have to start connecting the dots and recognize there's a lot of chemicals in our life that are very toxic and unhealthy for you. And unless or until you start looking at those things and start identifying what those chemicals are and take steps to remove them from your body and from your life, then you will continue experiencing those things that I just said and not feeling well. So where we're at a time where people are thinking about, what do I want to experience for the next many months, and what do I want to do this year, this is a really good time for you to start thinking about this conversation of what kind of toxic chemicals do I have in my body and my life, and maybe I need to make some changes here and switch out some things so that I'm not continuing to poison myself. So knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, our society is poisoning themselves and then wondering why we're so sick. And yes, taking animal products out of your diet is a big step, because a lot of those toxic and harmful chemicals are in animal products, but you've got to take the next step. Otherwise, you won't feel very good. All right? So today, what I wanted to share is helping you identify what some of the most common offenders are. Like, I'm going to give you 3 different chemicals, maybe 2. It depends on how long we go today. But these are pretty easily recognized and easily switched out. And a lot of the most common products that you'll find these 3 chemicals in, they'll say on the label that they do or do not have these things in. All right? So with that said, I just want to give you a perspective on what's actually going on in our society today. So since 1965, that's like 50 some odd years ago, more than 4 million chemical compounds have been formulated. That is a whole pile of chemicals. And of those, there's at least 3,000 of them in our food, and this data is a few years old, so it could be even different now. There's at least 3,000 chemicals in our food. 400 chemicals have been identified within human tissues that are doing all kinds of damage. And so without knowing what some of those are and then starting to take measures to get rid of them, then it's no wonder that you're not feeling very good. And some of these chemicals that I'll tell you about, once they get lodged into the fat tissue, it's really hard to get them out. And so you've got to really be persistent and disciplined and committed to feeling better so that you can eliminate some of these chemicals out of your body. Over 800 of those chemicals are neurotoxins. That means they're toxic to your brain, impairing your ability to think, impairing your brain's ability to function, which then makes you function, and they're toxic to your overall nervous system. So just think about that for a minute. So if I'm putting toxic things into my body that's going to be toxic to my brain and nervous system, what is that going to do to me and to my ability to function through and have a normal day-to-day life? And start connecting these dots and asking yourself questions about, okay, if this does this, and how is that going to affect me? Okay? Rather than just going on autopilot saying, oh, the manufacturing companies of these products have my best interest at heart. I can promise you they do not. They only care about making money. Okay? So, that being said, let's dive into these 3 chemicals. I've got my little notes here, so bear with me if I refer to them here and there, because I want to share this stuff with you and give you accurate information. All right? Okay, so one of the first ones, and very common, is called sodium lauryl sulfate. The acronym for that is SLS, and that is a foaming agent. It does a variety of different things. So it's a foaming agent. It's also a detergent. It's a wetting agent. So if you're mixing a lot of different powders of stuff together, then you can throw in this chemical and it help wet and bind things together. And then it's a dispersant. So when you're mixing all the different ingredients together in this concoction that you're making, then this chemical can help mix things together thoroughly and evenly. And it also acts as an emulsifier, which mixes or helps oil and water blend together. Okay? So in and of itself, those actions are necessary and good for whatever you're doing. That's not the point of the action. The thing is like the chemical itself, what does it do to your body once it's in your body? Okay? So sodium lauryl sulfates are just kind of nasty because they are they are industrial cleansers, and they're engine degreasers. And they're used for car wash detergents. So think about this. If it's that strong of a detergent, yes, it may clean things, but do you really need to have that strong of a chemical in your shampoo or in your body wash? In your hand soap? You don't. You don't need to have such a strong, harsh thing on your body. In your toothpaste, in children's care products, where else is it in? Liquid soap, conditioners, cleansers, shampoos. Why would you need to have this harsh of a chemical in there? Okay, so what it does, look at my other notes here. Sodium lauryl sulfate is a common skin irritant. And considering that it's an industrial strength car engine degreaser, doesn't take much to connect the dots of, yes, of course it's going to irritate my skin because it's such a harsh chemical. It doesn't belong on my skin and in my shampoo. Okay? It irritates the eyes, and once it absorbs in, then it gets lodged in your liver, in your heart, and your brain. And once they're there, then they can cause a lot of long-term effects, one of which is causing cataracts and preventing children from developing the way they need to be. So again, think about it. If that stuff is lodged in your brain and in your liver, then it's going to impair the functioning of your brain, of your child's brain, especially when it's still developing. Okay? So really start looking at this. It's like, why would you want this stuff in your body? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. So that's the first chemical. The second one I wanted to share with you today is, hang on, give me a second, propylene glycol. And this is, it's a form of mineral oil. So mineral oil is from petroleum, stuff out of the ground that we make gasoline with. Okay, it's a petrochemical. It's used in automatic brake and hydraulic fluids, and it's an industrial antifreeze. And what it does is it's a humectant, which means that it helps products retain moisture. Therefore, manufacturers think that they can put this chemical in things like mascara and cosmetics, skincare, the same different types of products, household bathroom products, cleaners, shampoos, soaps, conditioners, lotions, okay, because it holds the moisture. Cosmetics. But what it does, it can cause kidney and liver damage. Why would you want to put something in your body that's going to damage your liver? That's going to damage your kidney, especially once you know about what it does. So considering what all the different things the liver does, it's like 100 different functions. And you need it to filter the blood, break down fats and proteins, help cleanse and eliminate toxic things from your body. So if you're going to put something in your body that's going to damage and impair the liver's functioning of all that stuff, think about how that's going to affect you long term. Your liver's not going to function right, and so it's going to be more difficult for you to metabolize and break down wastes and have your blood filtered and cleaned. And it's just going to create this backlog of toxic waste and contributing to aging and deterioration of your cells and your tissues. Okay? So it's really not something you want to have. It's propylene glycol is also used in antifreeze, and it is very destructive for your skin tissues. It can contribute to dermatitis and rashes and inhibit the proper cell growth of your skin, causing rashes and dry skin. So if you, like in the wintertime, and you feel like your skin is always dry, but then you're always putting a lot of lotions and stuff on in hopes of retaining moisture in your skin, look at the ingredients. Start reading the labels on things and see if you've got propylene glycol in your lotion that's actually drying your skin out. Okay? So that's the second one. A lot of nasty things here. And they do a lot of really bad damage to your body. Okay, so this next chemical that I'm going to talk about, this is the third one for today. And this is nasty, nasty to me. So when I was in massage school years ago, then I had a class that was talking about the different chemicals and things that are in products. And they referred to this next chemical as, because it's actually a family of 4 chemicals with the parabens. And there's 4 common parabens, and they call them like the paraben stepsisters. And they do not play nice with anybody on the playground. So, what the names of them are, there's methyl, ethyl, butyl, and propyl. So ethyl paraben, methyl paraben, butyl paraben, propyl paraben. Okay, so these are the paraben sisters, and they don't play nice with anybody. They are known to cause cancer, especially estrogenic types of cancers, because parabens will mimic estrogen in your body. It will throw off your endocrine system, your hormonal levels, and give you either too much estrogen. And if you're a guy, that's not good. There's so many chemicals out there in all of the food and the household and personal care products that are xenoestrogens or estrogen mimickers. And then we wonder why we have so many hormone problems. Hello? Just take a look at this and see what you're doing to yourself. So estrogen mimickers, again, they mimic estrogen in your body. And if you have too much of it, that's one of the leading contributing factors to breast cancer, ovarian cancer, low sperm count in men, low testosterone in men, conditions where men start growing man boobs. So if you want that, then go load up on extra estrogens. But if you don't, then find ways of taking out these estrogen mimicking chemicals out of your body. They're loaded in your food. They're loaded in household and personal care products. And one of the easiest ones that you can recognize are these 4 paraben sisters. Okay? So they are, let's see, what else do I have to say about that? I mean, these are just nasty, nasty ones. And anymore you can find, a lot of labels will say that they don't have the sodium lauryl sulfate on there or in them, and they don't have parabens in them, which is a help. It's a good step. It's a starting step forward to start taking this stuff out of your life and out of your body. So start reading the labels and start recognizing this stuff. So that's why in these videos like this, I'm starting to break down what these chemicals are so that you can identify them. Okay, so another thing that these nasty 4 sisters do is promote skin aging, infertility in males, low sperm count. It's an environmental toxin. And it's, okay, so what the parabens are is they're food preservatives. So to help prevent mold and bacterial growth. The thing is, you do not have to put in a known carcinogen into your products in order to inhibit bacteria. There are many other products and plant-based things that you can put into your products if you have a concern about wanting to keep out pathogenic bacteria and molds. You don't have to use these things. Okay, so they are found in your food. Some of the places where you find these 4 sisters are processed foods, beer, soft drinks. Soft drinks, I call them diabetes in a can. You can also call them cancer in a can. Sauces, desserts, processed fish products, dairy products that are processed vegetables, pickles and jams and flavoring syrups. So a lot of just processed foods. And the thing is that manufacturers do not have to put onto their label all of the stuff that's in them. They don't have to list all the chemicals that's in the box. And parabens are probably one of them, because how often have you seen on your case of beer that has parabens in them? Okay, so just start educating yourself, start connecting the dots, and look up some of this stuff. Do your own research on propylene glycol and sodium lauryl sulfate and parabens, and you'll find out I'm not fooling you. Right? Let's see, what else do? They are so nasty. Let me see, what else can I tell you here about them? You can also, as I said, you can also look them up. The biggest thing I would say about the parabens is the cancer-causing problems, especially with breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and the low sperm count, the infertility for men. So, if you want to leave a comment for me, how does all of this strike you? What stood out the most for you about all of my little share here today? There's obviously many more things I can share for you, which I will be doing in my videos. This is a series of, now that you've gone vegan and vegetarian, now what? So, ways in which you can take the chemicals out of your life. So, leave a comment below. Let me know what you enjoyed the most about this. And if you would like to know more ways of how you can substitute some of these products that I mentioned, rather than continuing to use the products that have these chemicals in them, would you like to have or have access to chemical or to products that don't have these toxic chemicals in them, of how you can switch them out. What types of things can you look for as substitutes? All right. So if that's important to you, if you want to learn how to switch out those chemicals out of your home, then drop me a line in the comments below and say, yes, I'd love to know some more of how I can switch things out and what to replace them with. And I'd be happy to share with you. All right. So as always, thanks for joining me this afternoon for a few minutes. I hope this benefited you and you can find value in it. And I will talk to you the next time around. Thanks.